It was late autumn, about 5 years ago, when this happened. I was 19, living at home with my parents during my sophomore year of college. They lived on the edge of town, close enough to civilization, but surrounded by stretches of farmland and patches of woods that seemed endless once the sun went down. Our house sat at the end of a long graveled driveway, tucked just far enough back that the neighbors' lights didn't reach us. Nights were quiet, too quiet sometimes. The kind of quiet where every creak of the house, every groan of the wind through the trees feels sharper, louder. That fall, my parents both worked late hours. Dad was a mechanic, and Mom had picked up evening shifts at the hospital. Most nights it was just me and the dog, a lazy old golden retriever named Cooper. I didn't mind. I liked the solitude. It gave me time to study or watch movies or just zone out. But then, little by little, I started to notice things. At first, it was just the dog. Cooper would sit at the sliding glass door that looked out onto the backyard, his ears pricked, his whole body rigid. He'd growl under his breath, low and steady, staring at the tree line, like something or someone was standing there. The first night I laughed it off. Probably a raccoon, maybe a deer. But then it kept happening. Almost every night. Always the same. Just after 11, Cooper would sit at that door and refuse to move, his eyes locked on the same patch of dark woods. One night, I finally grabbed a flashlight and went outside. The air was sharp with the smell of fallen leaves, the kind that crunch under your feet no matter how lightly you step. I swept the light across the yard, into the trees, but saw nothing, just black trunks fading into deeper black. I told myself the dog was just getting old, maybe jumpy. But when I came back inside, I noticed something that made my skin prickle. The sliding glass door, the one Cooper had been staring through, had faint smudges on it. Smudges at about chest height, like someone had pressed their hands against the glass. I scrubbed it clean and tried to put it out of my mind. A week went by without incident. But then, one night, I woke up to the sound of Cooper barking. Not the lazy bark he used when the mailman came. This was frantic, hysterical. I shot up in bed, heart hammering, and ran down the hall. He was at the sliding glass door again, barking and growling like he was ready to tear the glass apart. I flipped on the porch light and froze. There were footprints in the frost, clear as day, human footprints leading right up to the edge of the patio. I wanted to believe they belonged to my dad, but he wasn't home that night. And besides, the prints weren't going away from the house. They were coming toward it, and they stopped just short of the glass door. I hardly slept that night. The next day, I tried to rationalize it, maybe kids messing around, maybe hunters cutting through the property, but deep down, I knew it wasn't that simple. Someone had been there, watching. Over the next few nights, I started double-checking all the locks, closing every curtain, turning on every light I could. But no matter what I did, the sense of being watched never left.
Then came the night that cemented it for me. It was around midnight. I was in the living room, curled up on the couch with a blanket and my laptop. Cooper was asleep at my feet, finally calm. The house was quiet except for the ticking of the old clock on the wall. And then, tap, just once. A soft tapping sound, like fingernails on glass. I sat up straight, every muscle tense. The sound came again. Tap, tap, from the sliding door. I didn't want to look. Every instinct screamed at me not to, but I did. At first, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. The glass reflected the warm light of the living room, making it hard to see outside. But just beyond my reflection, in the dark, I caught it. A pale shape, a face, pressed right against the glass. The features were blurry, but I could see the curve of a forehead, the dark holes where eyes should be, the faint outline of a mouth. It wasn't moving, just staring. I scrambled for my phone, my hands shaking so badly I almost dropped it. I dialed 911, but by the time I turned back toward the door, it was gone. Nothing but the faint fog of a breath mark lingering on the glass. The police came within 15 minutes. They checked the yard, the woods, the road. Nothing. No footprints this time, no broken locks, no sign of forced entry. They told me it was probably a prank, a Halloween scare maybe, but I knew better. For the next week, I barely slept. Every sound in the house jolted me awake. I even tried sleeping in my parents' room with the door locked, but it didn't matter. The feeling followed me. Then, one night, the feeling became reality. I woke to the sound of creaking. At first, I thought it was the wind shifting the house, but then it came again. Slow, deliberate, footsteps on the stairs. I wasn't dreaming, I knew I wasn't. I reached for my phone on the nightstand, but froze when I heard the floorboards in the hallway groan. Whoever it was, they were right outside my room. Cooper started barking downstairs, going wild, claws scrambling against the floor. The footsteps paused. Then, slowly, they moved back down the stairs. I crept to the top of the staircase and looked down just in time to see the front door closing, not slamming, just clicking shut, as though someone had slipped out. I locked the door, called the cops again, and waited. When they arrived this time, they found something. On the porch, just outside the front door, there was a cigarette butt, still warm. The problem was, no one in my family smoked, and the brand wasn't one you could even buy in our town. The police stayed outside until my parents got home. After that, I never stayed in that house alone again. To this day, I don't know who it was. The police never caught anyone. My parents eventually moved, sold it to another family. But sometimes I think about the sliding glass door, the smudges, the fog of breath on the glass, the face staring in, and I wonder if that family has started to notice it too.